Hey folks, Carl Valeri here with the 2019 DeLand Sport Aviation Showcase. We're having a blast. So many really friendly folks, incredible airplanes, people. We talked insurance. We also talked about the Bristol, but we're here right now with Brett Howell, who's talking about the Sebring Flight Academy. Oh my gosh, crazy that someone would actually want to start a flight school.
Amen to that, Carl. Amen to that. Yeah.
You know, Brett, we were just talking offline about the Bristol. Let's talk a little bit about the airplane real quick because we have to plug the airplane. It's a great aircraft, great fit and finish. And we just finished with someone else talking about why it's such a great plane to train in. So before we talk about the flight school, the Bristol is a great price point for someone who wants to own, but also how about someone who's looking to learn in one?
Probably the best platform I've experienced after 40 years in the business here. And here's why. Maintenance costs have been cut basically in half. Things that we would normally pay $30 for a spark plug for conventional 172, $6-7, now for the Rotax thing there. So it's been a very robust, capable aircraft for us here. Meaning that it's an airplane that you have to fly. You got to use your feet a little bit here. So our training has really become generating a really quality stick and rudder pilot here right out of the gate.
And those stick and rudder skills are going to be used throughout somebody's career, whether you're going to stay with the light sport or, say, even move on to the airlines.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're going into our first full year of using the airplane exclusively. And we're able to use the airplane now from zero time, from primary students, all the way through the commercial level because of that technically advanced capabilities of it there. So
again, that technically advanced aircraft, explain why that's so important?
Sure. So, the standard formula for many years has been, buy a 45-year-old Arrow or something along those lines to be able to demonstrate the ability to raise and lower the gear, constant speed prop, those kinds of things. Well, the FAA, and rightfully so, has recognized that because of the complexity of modern avionics, glide slopes and approaches and autopilots and everything, we're able to demonstrate that to master those systems is just as important as being able to raise or lower a gear lever.
One of the things I'd mentioned before is the fact that at the airlines they're having a lot of challenges with people not passing training because they don't have any quote-unquote glass experience. That's the technically advanced aircraft. And we never would think of going to a light sport aircraft like this to get that training. And I think if you just start off here, you have that fundamentals and you can move on to flying such an aircraft as a airliner, amazingly enough.
Absolutely. This airplane requires a delicate touch to land. Some of my initial concerns was the gear. How's this going to handle in a training environment? Happy to report, as of today, we have not had a blowout, a tire, any kind of gear damage whatsoever. Teaching specifically the correct way to land the airplane, and it's made a world of difference for us. Yep.
Yeah, I know that's always something that people think about as far as the Bristol in a training environment is, gosh, I'm not sure it can take the punishment that you get in a training environment. I'm glad you brought that up. So let's talk a little bit about the Sebring Flight Academy and what you're doing there. You've been there for about a year. Your primary aircraft are the Bristol?
That's correct. That's correct.
What type of ratings can they get?
So they can start with a sport pilot certificate and continue through all their advanced ratings right up through their ATP. They can get their commercial rating in the Bristol aircraft again exclusively there. Okay.
So somebody who's looking, and I know I look at these aircraft a lot of times, I think, gosh, the platform is an amazing platform for IFR. Now, I know sport aircraft, you can't fly IFR. There is a way, we talked a little bit about it technically, that you can change so that you can fly IFR if you change it to an experimental. But the skills, that's the most important thing, the skills that you're learning in this aircraft are translatable.
Absolutely. And what we can't do specifically in the airplane there, the Academy also has a full motion Redbird FMX simulator there that we're able to log half of their instrument training in there, 50 hours towards their commercial and some of those other things to really kind of get the full package there of the kind of training they need.
One of the benefits of a light sport is the fact it's a lot less expensive. Let's talk a little bit about costs. I want to get my sport pilot certificate.
Great question, because we are currently running a special generate students for our young instructors coming through here. So if a young person or a person wants to come in and get a sport pilot certificate there, from zero to the certificate is $3,200. That's $107 an hour for the airplane, for the instructor, wet, including fuel there. That's at cost, basically, yeah.
That's an incredible deal. That's cheaper than 152.
It is. It is. It is. And you're flying a brand new modern airplane.
I'm glad you said that. So something else that happens usually after your training is you fall in love with the airplane. So how about, what if someone wants to buy one of these afterwards?
Everything's for sale, as you know. Everything's for sale as you talk to Lou Mancuso. But that's kind of really the beauty of the Bristol there is, and that's happened. That's happened very recently. But we have the inventory, and we have the resources to, if one sells and a student wants to buy one, that it's easily replaced within a day or so there. Okay.
So you're in Sebring, Florida, just south of here. One of the things that I would think if I'm a student here watching online somewhere else in the United States is how would I actually arrange for a place to stay if I was to come there?
We've got you covered on that also. We have housing, which is literally 5 minutes from the airport. And we're not talking dorm room, kind of put you up in a hotel. We're talking about a beautiful home with kitchen, laundry facilities, and high-definition TV and all those kinds of things. Very comfortable. Something we would feel comfortable staying at, yeah.
So if I'm also an instructor looking for maybe a job, and because there's a lot of instructors out there now wanting to build hours, is this an opportunity for them?
Absolutely. In fact, our business model is really designed with that intent. As a light sport instructor, there's a couple things that really help shorten the pathway to start generating some revenue in the aviation world. And that's that the requirement is 150 hours of total time, no commercial rating, and no instrument rating for that. So these young guys are able to kind of get a light sport instructor certificate, start generating some income by teaching other students, other cadets and everything while they're training for their more advanced ratings and building their total time in their logbook there.
So we're basically 1 year on since you started the school. We spoke before. How are things going as far as from the perspective of the instructor and the student and the progression there for the career?
Sure. We're right on track. We've got 2 instructors now that started basically with us here. One of them had just recently passed his instrument rating here, so he's well on his way to his commercial rating next, and then as a full-fledged instructor. So while he's doing that process, he comes in, he's logging those times as dual instruction given, and he's well on his way to, to 1,000 hours for that corporate job.
For those listening and watching right now, you can find Sebring Flight Academy where?
That's at www.sebringflightacademy.com.
Remember, there's people behind that SebringFlightAcademy.com website, and one of them is Brett Howell here. If you have any questions, obviously you can ask him, but there's also other folks there that'll answer those questions.
Oh, absolutely. We've partnered with Lou Mancuso here very well, and Lou has been integral in the Bristol program and kind of bringing this whole thing to fruition there. So Lou and I have been on the same page, and the number one thing is safety and delivering the best product possible here to our students. Yeah.
Awesome. We're really excited about the flight school there, and I'm not going to stand here too long next to the Bristol because I might come home with one, and my wife will be really mad. Yeah, I know. So I wind up buying these things when I come to these shows, and this one's tempting. Again, the Bristol is an incredible aircraft, incredible fit finish. Haven't really flown one, I realized. I thought I did, but it was another one that's a competitor that looks very similar, and I'm told this one actually flies a lot better. We won't mention the competitor, but I tell you, everybody who's flown this has absolutely loved it. I have a really good friend that is flying it right now, just bought one, and he says one of his favorite aircraft.
Students love the airplane. They love the modern feel of it. It's an airplane that flies as good as it looks, to be quite blunt.
I like that. Flies as good as it looks. The Bristol aircraft, don't forget, you can learn to fly it at the Sebring Flight Academy. Brett Howell, has been awesome talking to you. Anything else we need to mention to the students or anybody else out there about the aircraft?
Nope, we're going to go sell some airplanes today. Okay.
Hey, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget, right here at the DeLand. I did that twice already. At DeLand, we're talking about Sebring, but you can come check out at the DeLand Sport Aviation Showcase these aircraft and get up close and personal, just like we did here. That sometimes you don't get that at some of the larger shows. And don't forget, you can also take a flight in those aircraft, and that's going to be terrific all throughout this show. Not only, and then afterwards, make sure you head down to Sebring, check out Sebring Flight Academy. They'll go out and give you a demo flight there. Just want to shout out to Tom Frick, our cameraman right now, and Mike Daniels, Elizabeth Daniels, who's really working hard out there on all the social media. And of course, Dave Schalbetter, who's helping us put this together. I'm getting shaking. No, don't shout out to him. But he is goofing off right now. And Roy Brewer, we're having a blast here putting this all together for you folks so you can see us. I'd love to hear your comments on this as far as the live broadcast if you want to see these. And don't forget, it's also on YouTube. You'll be able to download this later. Again, Carl Valeri here at the DeLand 2019 Sport Aviation Showcase. Can't wait to talk to you again on the next interview. And I think I'm going to try to go out and fly eventually.
I think the weather might hold for you, Carl.
Thanks again.